All right, welcome everybody. This is Dr. Keith. How's everyone doing? I'm expecting a pretty small attendance today. I know a lot of people are on vacation this week, but I still wanted to hold today's live webinar. And obviously I am recording it and I'll send out the recording as well here, okay? So what I wanted to do today was I'm gonna go through a quick analysis, of some of the major markets. And then I was gonna do a search for stocks and for futures to kind of show people that aren't as familiar how I go about looking for trades. Okay, so that's what we'll do. Probably 30 to 40 minutes will be all today, but we'll see how that goes regardless. Okay, so again, welcome everybody. Good to see some of you here on the call as I will be heading out here. Got some family and heading out for a long weekend. So I'm actually doing this today, right now, in a remote hidden location. Yeah, it's been grinding and grinding up, right? So as long as you're long on the SPY, you're doing okay though. But I agree, it's been, we're at new highs almost every day at this point, right? Okay, thank you, John. So with that, again, we'll open it up here with the ES, the S&P. As you see, we hit a new high yesterday, probably will hit a new high today. But again, those of you that have been using seasonality, you shouldn't be too surprised. We got sideways to up action here. We basically top, we're going to keep going higher this year. Okay. My new sentiment indicator as well is showing on the daily a strong bullish, on the weekly a strong bullish. Retailers are still more net short than they are net long. So that all plays a role, folks, in why we continue to grind higher. You can see here on the Dow, which I have a long play on the Dow. We haven't hit new highs yet. I think that's coming next. Okay, I think the Dow is getting ready to hit highs here over the next month. You can see here, almost got stopped out on my futures play. Did not get stopped out at this point, and now I'm actually up a little bit here. But that's trading, right? You have your stop loss, you have your profit targets, and you let the magic do its magic, right? And going into an index trade that there's volatility right at any point. Same with the NASDAQ. So the NASDAQ, at least last time I looked, was down today. Let me bring up old NASI. Let's see here, what am I doing? There it is. So it's down only 20 points, but again, it just keeps hitting new highs, and there's a lot going on at those highs, right? Remember, this was a long play that we did, and I always get the question, how far out to go on that. Certainly, one of my clients has done an end of a year long play on the Qs and is doing a huge return, but you have to have patience to hold it, right? Because like right here, all of a sudden people are like, well, we made money, it's time to get out, right? So patience can be difficult. It's always easy after the fact to look at a chart and say, well, yeah, of course I should have stayed in it, right? But the new trigger was on June 7th, went from a red to a yellow to a green Hockenacci dot there. So if you're in it, you're still staying in it based on those rules, right? But yeah, NASDAQ's going to continue higher, folks. Okay. Hi, Olga. I assume you can hear me now. I had it on mute before the webinar, but I assume you can hear it now. Okay, so again, I believe between the Russell, which is right here, the Russell hit new highs as well here in the near future. I believe the NASDAQ, the Dow, S&P, they're all going to continue to inch higher. That does not mean every day it's going to go higher. So if we get a couple-day pullback and you get new re-enter, whether it's a 4-hour chart, then absolutely you can look to re-enter, right? I know a lot of you have been long Tesla, one of my trades of the year, right? I mean, first of all, look at the pure seasonal. Of course, you're long Tesla, but it's breaking out here to the upside. And, I wouldn't be surprised to see Tesla hit these highs at 900 here, by fall, okay? AMD is another, solid stock, phenomenal seasonality. that's starting this breakout now. We'll see if that 94, if that 94 ends up being resistance or not. But, that's, we knew going into, these triggers here and here, right? Here and here, that we have a good opportunity to make money on AMD, right? This is a 5-year seasonal pattern, and then this is the 10. They're matching. So we're basically top around middle of September, have a slight pullback, and then we head higher again, right? So we have plans. And with trading, that's what you need. You need plans, because if you don't have this type of seasonality, why take it, right? In my opinion, it doesn't mean a trade won't work out, but why don't we go and take stuff when we have advantages, right? Sure, I can take a look at Dell right now. It's funny, I was just looking at Dell for some reason. I don't remember why yesterday, but so Dell, we had a trigger here on the Laguerre, okay, and Hakanachi is green. Okay, what I don't like about Dell is we're right at highs almost, like $4. So, if you're taking long plays, you're gonna want to take profits at 104 probably. Okay, so there's not as much reward there. Me personally, I rarely trade Dell, but it does have strong bullish sentiment and so forth as well on that. Okay. Palladium. So I was telling a client yesterday, let me bring up Palladium, right? The key when you're trading, folks, is positioning, right? You never want to over position. And this is why, let me explain. Right here, I think it was June 1st or June 2nd, I went long. I did this publicly, okay? This is futures Palladium. I also did PALL. But the reason why I'm talking about positioning is, at the time I had my stop below the swing, and, I love this trade, right? You're in an uptrend, it retraces to the bottom band, and then we get the Laguerre trigger and Hakanachi green, right? So nothing is guaranteed, but looking back, doesn't it look like a good trade, folks? Right? High probability, right? High probability. Look at the seasonal move, okay? I love Palladium. So what happened? I got in and then it went and stopped me out. So not a big deal, because I knew I would be able to get back in, but the key is positioning, so that if you're risking more than 5% of your account ever, okay, this is a big deal to you, okay? So don't do it, because if you're looking at pure odds, this trigger, okay, this trigger right here was an extremely high probability trade. So if you're like, okay, this is the trade I'm going to go in with, half of my account because I really want to build up quickly. If you do that, you must understand, no matter how good a trade looks, they're not all going to work out, okay? So I don't do that. Not that I never have. When I first started trading, I think we've all over positioned. But now, no matter how good something looks, 5% is the most I go into a trade. And so if I'm going to leverage in, that means I go in 1 or 2% initially, and I wait for a pullback if it doesn't work out, and then I add in more, but I never go in more than 5%. And some do 3%, okay? So with that though, I just waited and we had a new trigger here, okay? So I did this one publicly again with my alert system. I got in, we hit profit target 1. So now my stop is at break even. And my hope is, you see where it's doing today, it can continue up and hit these highs. If I can stay with a break even stop on the rest of my trade and let Hakanachi continue to go up and stay green, okay, I can make a lot of money on this trade. Okay, so we will wait and see. Okay, we will wait and see. But again, that's why it's important to have good risk management. Okay, this was another great opportunity, and I want to make a lot more than what I did on that loss, right? So if we can get a nice move up on Palladium up to that 3,000 level here, folks, that'll be a tremendous win. Okay, I tried to get back in on PALL, but I didn't get filled. It ran away from me, right? So I had to cancel that order. Okay, so if I bring up PALL, you see, we almost would have hit profit target 1 here, but I never got filled, unfortunately. Okay, and I didn't chase it. But as an investment, I love Palladium. Okay, I love Palladium to hold on to for years and years and years. I have some in my account that's back a year ago. Okay, but as this more of a swing trade, I missed it before it's going to hit its profit target there. Okay. Okay, so what else we got going on? So bonds, right? We've been talking about bonds. Typically, bonds has a nice seasonal move along right now. Okay, and we are hitting higher lows now. Okay, so it is starting to act more normal. We usually top in August at some point. I've been kind of staying away from it because this was a nice trigger here, but bonds have been pretty weak and weaker than what it usually is. Okay, so I'm just not excited about bonds this year. But again, I suspect bonds will continue higher until mid-August at some point and then reverse. And I'll be more looking for this short this year, believe it or not. But usually bonds this time of year is one of my favorite trades of the year. Okay. And I do think it's going to go higher, but it's just been pretty unstable. So those of you that say bonds go in the opposite direction of stocks, that's not always the case. There's seasonal longs in bonds and there's seasonal long in stocks right now. Okay. So there are times they're inverse, but not right now. Okay. So don't look at bonds as an indication of what the stock market is going to do as an inverse. Okay. Okay. So let's take a look at the VXX. Okay, VIX. So actually, let me just type in I'm going to do the VIX. Okay. So you can see here, it's just been kind of consolidating around this 16 level. Okay. At some point, we'll get a bigger spike up. When we do, right, I want to do a short play on the VIX. So when you get these spikes, we do look to do short plays. This wasn't large enough for me to take this, but when it happens, right, I'll wait for that move back down and do a nice short play on the VIX. Make lots of money on that. And the beautiful thing is it's very predictable when it happens. Okay. So even if there's an unexpected event, the VIX pops up, the son of a gun's got to come back down. It always does. Go back, look at your charts. Okay. Excellent, John. Yeah, XLE, the energy stocks, it's a good play. Absolutely. What I'm doing right now on oil, like crude oil, retailers are still short. We're going higher. But this is in a nice uptrend. I do think this high might be the high on XLE at this point. Seasonality typically says we should start heading lower at this point. So just be careful on a longer term play. But we still have strong bullish sentiment here on the daily. But the weekly is neutral sentiment at this point. Okay. Tractor Supply. Here's a nice trigger back here on June 23rd. And again, I just want to show you the logic here. Okay, we had a trigger on the Laguerre, you had a green Haganachi, and look at the seasonal projection. Okay, the dotted pink is 5-year, the green is 10. Okay, 10 is my favorite time frame to look at. So when you have these, plus this was in an uptrend, you retrace down to the bottom Bollinger Band. It doesn't get much better than this. And what you can do, and I'm doing more of this now even publicly, is if you're wrong, if it breaks below this recent low, I don't care if I'm only down 10%, 20%, just get out because you can get right back in when it happens again. Okay. So those swing lows or swing highs are really good exit points on losses. That way you're not hoping it comes back. Just get out, because what we don't know about this is I may come back to you in August, right? And we're still in this opportunity, right? You don't know it. You don't know when it's going to end, right? Just like, let's look at the lumber again. I had a question on lumber. Okay, so no, I didn't take this short on lumber because typically that doesn't happen. Okay, and that's not predicted, right? We got out, right roughly at these highs. Here's when you got out with Haganachi. I wish I would have shorted it now, but no. But what's actually exciting to me is that we're going to get another long-term opportunity here for long, right? Not yet. We have easy rules, right? And those easy rules are saying as long as this is staying red and the Laguerre stays down here, we don't get it long, okay? All it's done so far was basically come down to its base now and then a little bit more, which is good for lumber prices, but I think it's going to head higher again. So seasonality says it is. So if we get a long trigger, we can look to do that again, okay? Yeah, Brian, trying to build a small account. I mean, any time frame, but let me just give you an example. It's just what your risk and reward is going to be. What I love doing, especially if you have the time in your schedule to watch it, a 15-minute trigger is really good. Okay, so like on the SPY, we had a 545 trigger long. Okay, if you're going in both directions, I'm pretty much more bullish right now, but you have a short play there. But then here's the long play at 930. The 15-minute is nice. You can do the hourly as well if you have less time. Or again, if you're working full time, you can't do the daily, just do small size. Okay. Yep. Great question. It'll help you stay in trades without question. Yeah, I know, Ryan. If we would have shorted that, we would have made more money than we did on the long, right? Okay, so Apple. So Apple, another one. I got a couple positions on here. Publicly, I exited a swing trade, but I've got a leap on Apple. And why is that? Okay, first of all, my target was 200 for the year. Okay, I did this in January. But look at Apple in the seasonal perspective. So when you get these turnarounds, okay, you just know. So what I'm going to do, folks, is when it retraces and I get a new trigger long, I'm going to add into my position. Okay. I haven't sized the full position of what I'm willing to do at this point. And so if it continues up, I'm not going to be sad. That's fine. I'm making money. But when you get the new higher low here, maybe over here, right? It comes down, starts coming back up with a new trigger. I'm going to add in again. That is definitely an advanced strategy. Okay. And it's hard to do because when you get in, you're so excited that you just want to go in full positions and make as much as you can. But the nice thing about adding in, as long as you're not adding in over your percentage you're okay with, is that you can actually make more money that way, and then you're getting back in off a specific entry. Okay, absolutely. Okay, so what I want to do now, let's look at AMC, right? A lot of news on AMC, hit that major move up. Now it's consolidating, and so you're just going to wait. It's going to bust up or down one way or the other. You can bet either way you want, but I like to stay away from these news event ones. And let me do crude real quick. So crude again, it just continues higher, right? I got into a nice long play here. I moved my stop up to 73 and got wicked out there yesterday, but made good money on crude. And so now what I'm looking for, folks, right, the next 4-hour trigger. So I was in it during, I missed this one, right? So now I'm waiting for it to pull back and then come back up. But I have a plan. Okay, I'm not just getting back into something. I need rules to tell me when to get in. Okay, and that's the important thing. Yeah, Ryan, send me an email. Absolutely. That's my email. Okay, so one other thing I want to talk about Bitcoin. So I'm looking to add more positions to like Mara and Riot. Okay, so I'm waiting on Bitcoin. Now we have a trigger long on Bitcoin. The problem with Bitcoin, folks, is it's in this range though, right? So what I'm waiting for before I get real bullish on Bitcoin again, I want it to break out of this range. Okay, so as an example, again, it's patience. And I know it's hard, but I've done this long enough to know. This is kind of the range that it's in, right? So I'm not as interested. Once it breaks through here, though, in my opinion, then it's going to run up to those highs. So if it ranges for the next 3 months, you're not going to hear me do many trades on some of these, cryptos. And trust me, I love Mara. Okay, we had a trigger on Mara. I love Riot. Okay, and Riot's making its move there. And look at the seasonal in Riot in October. Okay, that's when I'll get more aggressive. But until Bitcoin itself starts breaking out to the long side, I'm holding on these. I'm not putting any new positions. Okay, that's the way I do it. It doesn't mean it's always the right way, but what I'm looking for is I want Bitcoin to come and say, okay, Bitcoin's getting long again. It starts making this move. Then a lot of these other, again, when I call them crypto, that's kind of ignorant of me saying that because there's not just crypto. There's blockchain and a bunch of things, but that's just what I label it as all crypto stuff. okay? There's a lot here you can see down here, and that I look for, that I like. Square already started its breakout. Look at SQ, folks. So we had a trigger right here on June 11th. You see that? Again, Laguerre, Hackenacci, bam. Look at the 5-year seasonal pattern on SQ. It hasn't been around for 10. You also have strong bullish sentiment on the daily, strong bullish on the weekly, okay? They don't get much better than this. Here's the other thing I like about it, okay? Where would your stop be? If it closes below this 210 level here, okay? Closes. Again, I don't worry about intraday stuff. Okay, then I would just exit the trade, make a small loss, even if it turns around a day or two. Okay, that's what I'm doing more and more of nowadays. Instead of saying, okay, I'm going to hang on until I get a 30 or 40% loser, I look at these swings, and if it breaks below, especially in a market in the summer, just get out, take a small loss, because then you're going to get these big wins. And if you took this, are you still in it? Well, if you're waiting for the green to turn red on the dots down here on Hackenacci, you're still in this. Okay, you may be in this for another day, well, at least 2 days, another week, another month, till the end of the year. We don't know at this point, but we know seasonality says this usually heads higher here until November, slight pullback, then higher. Okay, that's where seasonality with Laguerre and Hackenacci can help you stay in these trades. Okay, because just saying I want to take a small profit, I'm happy, that's not the way to grow your account. Okay, that's not the way to grow your account. Take advantage of the wins when you can. Okay, won't be every trade, but you'll get a lot of them that way, for sure. All right, so what I'm going to do, folks, I'm going to open up a watch list here. And by the way, for you TradeStation users, I've got something super exciting I'm going to show you in a couple weeks with a radar screen that's going to knock your socks off. But let's see here. So I'm going to go to my personal ones, and actually, what the heck am I doing? Yeah, I'm going to go to personal. I'm going to go to, I got so many of them here. Right here, all optionable. Okay. So when I'm looking for trades, folks, using Thinkorswim here. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is sort by SIG. Okay. Because these are my favorite opportunities. Let's just focus on the greens right now for the long play. Okay. And all that means is that within the next 3 months, somewhere in there, we have a 8% move. Okay. And so what I'm looking for is these are the 1.0s, and now here we have a green long. So let's look at CF, because we got a Laguerre trigger, okay? We can say, okay, the Laguerre triggered, but and look at the seasonal. It's a pretty nice seasonal here until, let's just say, September, right? So you could talk me into that. What I don't like is we don't have a green Hackenacci yet. So if I'm taking this, I know there's a little bit more risk, but what would I do? I just wait. If it closed below this right here, okay, then I'm just going to get out. Okay, so if it closes below this recent swing, I'm going to get out. Now again, you got strong bullish sentiment on the daily, you have strong bullish sentiment on the weekly. Not a bad opportunity. Laguerre's heading up, but ideally I would like to see a green Hackenacci, although it is like an indecisive red, right? But that's what I look for. Let's look at CERS. Okay, so CERS has a move coming here further out, but sometimes you got to use common sense. What's price been doing? Really just going sideways. Not interested at this point. There's better ones out there, right? So I just looked at things that have a potential 8% move. Let's look at AHT. Okay, so here's one, same thing. Okay, we got a Laguerre triggering, but not a green Hackenacci yet. Okay, and this is a minus 1.0. This is a short play. So the enter would have been back here short on June 14th. Okay, so if you're looking for short plays, you look at the minus 1.0. The other thing I'm going to do, though, is I'm just going to short by Laguerre. Okay, because those are just 8% moves, but it doesn't mean there's not other good opportunities out there. Maybe it's only a 6% move, for crying out loud, right? So these are the ones that are like Comcast. Okay, I've been watching that as part of the data mining. Look at Comcast, folks. Look at the seasonal. Check, right? Beautiful. Laguerre's almost there, and you got green Hackenacci, okay? So if you get into this, your stop is just below this wick, right? That's a good stop. Now, strong bullish. My only asterisk on this, hesitation, ADX is red, meaning we're in consolidation, and it really has been kind of consolidating there, okay? But not a bad opportunity. So I'm just cherry picking some of these here, okay? All right, let's look at AU. So AU, don't like it. It's not matching any sort of seasonal pattern. Let me look at the green. The solid green are ones that have triggered now. So ADP, okay? So ADP, you have the seasonal move. You've got the Laguerre triggering and the green Hackenacci. Remember, this will stay green long for 2 additional bars. So the actual trigger was here, which meant the next day, yesterday, was the entry, okay? My issue with ADP right now is we're so close to those darn highs, okay? I'd rather have more room to run, okay? And we'll probably continue to hit new highs. But again, I think of it as when I was dating before I got married. If you can be really picky, be picky, right? Pick the hottest one, okay? Male or female. Don't say, okay, well, this one's okay. Pick the hottest one, okay? All right, ADS. So ADS had a long trigger right here today. Laguerre went back down, so we'll just ignore this at that point. I also don't like the seasonal one, right? So that's not one we're interested in. And by the way, with TradeStation, I have a program where it won't even give me long triggers if the seasonal isn't positive coming up. Thinkorswim doesn't have that capability. Okay, so let me just kind of looking through here. Let me see if I can find something I like right now for you all. Oh, look at that though. So Aspira Women's Health. Okay. Once you get into late October, look at this recent move. So put that on your watch list, that in the near future in August, when it starts moving again, right, and you have room up to those highs. Okay. All right, I'm just going to go through these and take a look. So here we have a combo long on BHR, but we don't have any seasonal data. BMY, Bristol Myers, right? We typically start heading higher. Again, we're pretty close to highs. Berkshire, one of my favorites. Okay, look at Berkshire. Okay, Laguerre trigger, we're just waiting for that green Hackenacci. One thing I can tell you with probably 90% certainty, let me fix that. I just screwed that up. Okay. By the end of summer, we'll easily be at new highs on BRKB, Berkshire Hathaway. Okay. Phenomenal stock, phenomenal company. These pullbacks are the time to get back in. Larger account holders are buying, going to buy outright stock on that. Beautiful opportunity. Okay. We had Dell we talked about. DuPont's another one. We got a combo trigger here, okay, which means the Laguerre and the stochastic. Okay, seasonal though is pretty sideways right now, but again, we had to move down. We touched the band. I don't really trade DuPont. It's kind of a boring stock for me, but you can put your stop below this wick and see if it rides up to this 86. So you're like, well, I'll give it a try. There's a little bit of a loss, but look at the opportunity. That's what trading is all about. That's what I'm going to start focusing on more for all of you. Okay. Oh yeah, this is my custom seasonal, Brian. Yep. Okay, so let me look at futures now. I know most of you are just stock. Some of you do futures as well, but I want to show futures as well. So, and then I'll talk about a couple data mining opportunities as well here. Okay. I know I promised 30 or 40 minutes, so I'll try not to be too much longer than that. All right, so these are futures. You can see here, for example, silver. We got a long trigger on silver. Okay, so I got a lot of writing. Remember, I started out in futures. That's my, I do a bunch of trades on there. Okay, but you can see here on silver, we typically top right around August. end of August. So all I'm waiting for here now is this Laguerre to actual trigger. I did a fake trigger here and then give me that long entry, okay? We talked about bonds, soybean meal is triggering today. See that move up, but the seasonal's down. So what I'm looking for on soybean meal here, okay, is keep coming and then roll over for me. Okay, so again, very quickly, we have a plan. Also, I don't know if some of you folks that trade realize we can now trade milk, okay? We had a combo trigger on milk. Problem with milk is it's very thinly traded. But look at that double bottom here. Doesn't get much better than that. Okay, and then this is the new Dow Jones Commodity Index /AW. Okay, again, we had a trigger here, right here. Now it's coming up, but there's just not a whole lot of room to highs there, right? All right, some other things that I'm looking at right now is FAS. Okay, this is the Finance Bull ETF. So we have the trigger back here, okay, but look at you've kind of got some sideways action, then you go long on October, okay? So what I like about this is uptrend retracement. Now it may consolidate for a while, but when we get into October, keep an eye on FAS, folks. We do have sentiment in our favor as well right now, okay? All right, let me bring up a couple things you haven't heard of. Probably not, unless you have the data mining, then you've heard of it. So LKQ Corp, okay? First of all, folks, if you got in just off of key dates of June 25th to September 13th, this has gone about 12% higher since the stock has been around, okay? So we know going into this that when we got a trigger here on 623, okay, we know that this, in the seasonal showing this, that we should head higher, okay? So this is an example where now what you can look for, since a lot of you didn't know that, you can look to get in on a 4 hour. So the next trigger, which is, I would wait for a green Hackenacci here. Okay, this could be a potential entry coming up very shortly on LKQ, okay? This will probably be my trade of the month coming up for July. TDY, again, strong bullish sentiment on both time frames, okay? From July 12th to November 20th, it goes up about 12%. Okay, it's gone up 20 out of 21 years. Okay, you didn't hear me incorrectly. It's gone up 20 out of 21 years. So what am I waiting for? Well, I want that Laguerre to come back or at least start curving up. Give me a green Hackenacci, and then this will be a long play on TDY. Okay, and we have plenty of room up to these highs to make money. So this is by far something I'm keeping an eye on. We know with high probabilities, 20 out of 21 years, this thing's gone higher about 12% during July 12th to September 20th. And they can always start a little early. So when this new trigger comes, that's how you have a high chance to make money, okay? Yeah, that is exciting on oil as well, Daryl, that we can, Thinkorswim's come out with a lot of these, I mean, they haven't, but they're now allowing a lot of these micros coming up, and it's going to be nice. There's some on copper. It's amazing that they're just giving traders a lot of options to trade with smaller accounts, which is fantastic. Yep. Okay, so yeah, so let me take a look at Netflix. So again, typically my target was 850. You're like, you're never going to make that, Dr. Keith. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But we have the combo trigger right here on June 15th. Okay. Typically, though, we do top right around the 4th of July. So if you're in this trade, you may start getting some consolidation. But it's, consolidating. And then when we get into the end of the year, that's when Netflix is the greatest buy. Okay. Typically this happens somewhere in the first quarter of the year. Okay. So if you really want to make money continually on Netflix, go long towards the end of the year, stay in it through January. But yeah, who knows, this could continue higher. At this point, the Hackenacci is giving you no reason to exit an opportunity there. Okay. NVAX. Novavax, again, nice seasonality until middle of August. Had the trigger combo long right here. You know, I like to see this come up to 260, 270 here, absolutely. So if you took that, great opportunity. You may have even taken it back here in May, but you're following the rules. You're doing fantastic, doing fantastic. All right, is there anything that somebody wants me to look at? More than happy to. Jeff, I'm just reading your chat. How's it going? TJX? Okay, let's take a look. So, first and foremost, what do you think from a seasonal perspective? Hopefully you're saying fantastic, right? Fantastic. Yeah, strong bullish sentiment on both time frames. Had the Laguerre and the Hakanachi right here. You got it. That's the entry. Okay. And what you do, you put your stop right below this low. And if you don't make your money, if it went against you, you're out as a pretty small loss. But in this case, you wait for a red dot to get out. You don't know when you're going to get out. At this point, we don't know. We're going to let the price do its thing. Okay. Fizz. Mr. Short Interest Fizz. All right. So again, I'm expecting Fizz to make an enormous move up here between now and the end of the year once these shorts get knocked out. But at this point, you know, here was a trigger right here. It basically tops though until August. So if you're doing that, it's more of a shorter term play. If price closes below either 45 or let's call it 43.50, you get out. But what I really like is the November move up and type of thing. So, you know, Fizz is going to do more of the sideways right now, which you can certainly make money on back and forth calls and puts. But I like it to really start accelerating towards Halloween. Okay. Tells another one. Okay, my target was 7 on this one. Right around the 4th, it starts popping higher and we're getting a trigger. So I absolutely love TEL. Fantastic opportunity. Certainly take some profits at the highs though, you know, if you take that one, but that's a fantastic trade. ABNB, just kind of wait on that at this point. COF, Capital One, had a trigger here. It's come down since, good seasonal pattern. Earnings is far enough away in the middle of July. So again, what I'd be doing here, have your stop, you know, right here. Or if you don't want to, if that's too wide of a stop, depending on if you got in, you can, you know, if it closes red, just get out and look to re-enter because we're in a nice uptrend. It's going to head higher. We just don't know if that was a false trigger. You know, the next one coming up may be it like it was back here. Okay. You know, I like giving it some room to the low here, but if that's too much risk, then move it up. TDOC, absolutely. Let's take a look. So DDOC has a nice seasonal play coming. We had the last trigger was on May 20th here, green. So now you need a pullback. Okay, you need a pullback and then a resumption to the uptrend. So just be patient. If you're in it, Raj, no reason to exit at this point. No reason to exit. Okay. SPCE, I don't have much seasonal data on that. I think this is what you're asking for, Ryan. Virgin Organic Holdings. But if you're just looking at pure price action, you're just waiting for this to come down, give you a green Hackenacci, for another long play. Okay. All right, folks. So again, I think the markets are going to go sideways to higher. So if we get some pullbacks, look for that as buying opportunities. Ryan, feel free to email me, reach out to me, no issues at all. Other than that, folks, have a good 4th weekend. And if you need anything, reach out. Other than that, look forward to seeing you all in a couple weeks. And again, when we get back into the fall, I'll do these weekly. But for this time frame right now, I'm doing them every 2 weeks. So best of luck. Keep in touch, and I'll see you soon. Take care, everyone. Thank you, Ryan. Thanks, Chris.